Wait. Thank you.
अगले पत्थर से जोड़ के न जाने कब किस मोड़ का अंजाम हो अगले मोड़ पे।
जी बोलिए। Why don't we start with Nandita? Nandita will talk about ramblings.
Yeah.
Your impression.
Yes.
Love Ramblings, that's the Bandra boy.
Yeah.
And Denzel and me will be reading from his book. And Shubhana will be moderating, and we've done a read earlier. And that was amazing. The crowd over there was amazing. I mean, people told me they were sitting in cattle class, and Rupa said she was in cattle class, one was in business class and all that. So let's hope everyone is comfortable and we hear good ramblings.
Well, you should say a little about the book then.
Oh, the book is a fabulous collection of little anecdotes, as it were, memories. It's a lot of memorabilia, which is as if it's a conversation. So when you read it, it's as if the author is actually telling you a little short story. And they're let me reiterate that they are very spicy and interesting and insightful little anecdotes about people and places and things and food.
Thank you.
Subhana, how does it feel today being here?
Oh, it's lovely. I've been a Facebook friend of Joy's for a long time, and this book, as everybody knows or possibly will realize, is an assembly of a lot of his posts which everybody kept urging him to publish. It eventually happened, which we're all very, very thrilled about. He has a very Boardhausian style of writing. He has a great sense of perspective. He can stand back and look at the events in his life like, it's like an out-of-body experience almost. And he has the balance to be able to, even if he's going through like really deep shit at the point in time, he has the ability to balance it and talk about it in a manner that is so immensely entertaining and hilarious sometimes. So it makes for fabulous reading. It talks about dark spaces, light spaces, fun, everything, but it's such a feel-good collection of stories, and I think it's a terrific book to read. Also because Joy is a phenomenal writer.
Joy, how are you feeling today being part of Yathakatha? And Ramblings is now, I think, has become universal ramblings. You must be having so many people more who want to read your book, even your enemies, as I read. I stalk you.
The enemy is gifting 25 books.
Wow.
As Diwali gifts, believe me. How does it feel? I wish I felt more euphoric. I'm soaking it in and I'm listening to it almost in a very detached way, as though they're talking about somebody else. Is that me? That's the kind of feeling I get. I can't somehow, it's unreal, it's very surreal, this feeling that I'm considered to be a writer. I never thought that I'd be a writer. I used to love bookshops. I used to go in and smell the fragrance of new books. It used to turn me on so much. But I only went to buy books. I never thought that I'd go and see my books. So now that gives me a thrill to see my book there, along with the other books. And I guess I'm very fortunate. I'm 68. Who knew that I'd get onto this trajectory at this age?
Still young.
So it's wonderful. I'm blessed.
Maybe
I thank
this
everyone.
festival
I thank
will
the
be-
universe.
Maybe this festival will be
And I
a part
thank
of
them.
2.0
And I thank you.
Ramblings.
Sorry?
This festival will be a part of Ramblings 2.0? Yes.
You know something? Ramblings 2 and Ramblings 3 are already ready.
4 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ramblings 4 maybe. Yes.
Way to go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.
The beginning session, and there are a few things that what she said resonated. Boldness is not your clothes, it's your attitude. You could be with a dupatta, with a hijab, without it, and you could still be bold. So I come from the same school of thought. There are a few things that I have experienced in my life journey, that when you start on a path, you need to unlearn everything that you have been taught. I mean, that's the first step. Because, I don't know her name, but what's her name? Shrestha. What Shrestha just said, that हमारे दिमाग में चलते रहता है कि am I being too bold? But whose voice is that? Who decides what is too bold? Where is that voice coming from? It's coming from perhaps your society, your family, your relatives, your friends. It's coming from a place that has got nothing to do with you. So the first thing is that you need to shut out that voice and then move forward with whatever you believe is your true voice. And not everybody has the, I would say, the luxury of growing up in a very privileged home. Okay, I started my journey as a child in a 100 square feet home. For 17 years, a lot of poverty, faced all of that. And I've spoken about this a lot in my talks because I think a lot of people who see me sitting on a podium, they're like, wow, wow this, wow that, my awards are being talked about, but nobody knows my journey, right? And that journey was only possible because it was like, when you're boarding a flight, you're allowed only a certain amount of luggage. There is a reason, because the higher you go, you need to go lighter on your luggage. So I have been shedding, leaving behind everything that is not worked for me, or that is not working for me, or I don't require. And that's how I have moved in life. And honestly, I don't know whether this word bold, where and why it was invented. I mean, Selena is, the author, and she could probably shed more light. But I think over the time it has been used very frivolously. Like, I'll give you a small anecdote. I made my second film called Cocktail. Okay, not Imtiaz Ali Wali Cocktail. This was T-A-L-E. It came after the Nirbhaya rape happened, and in fact Anusha was the PR person on that film. And when that film screened, it screened in many different cities of India. It was a very controversial film. It was about the mindset of a rapist. It was not about rape, it was the mindset of a rapist. And it won its own share of awards. When my screening in Delhi got over, I was visited by a gentleman, and he happened to be a producer. And he came and told me, "Shabash, मुझे भी एक bold film बनानी है ऐसी." And I looked at him and I was like, okay. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. So I told him, I said, "Sir, yeah, what is the subject? What are you looking for?" And he said, "पता नहीं अभी, but bold film बनानी है. एक ऐसा धमाकेदार bold." And that word bold stuck with me. And I was like, am I now being stereotyped as somebody who's making bold films? Because my first film was on child sexual abuse. My second film was on the mindset of a rapist. In fact, my third film is on an issue that I don't know how many people of you have heard of, female genital mutilation. It's on that, which I'm going to be shooting next week. I don't know what's going to happen after that comes out. I mean, I'll be put somewhere as a, put that bold written on it. Exactly. So this word has become very synonymous for the wrong reasons, I think. And maybe in time, we as women, and as Anusha rightly said, that when a man achieves something. Also, one more thing what I noticed is both Anusha and Selena, they gave disclaimers that while talking about men, they said, "We love men." Okay? Now, the very fact, I love men too, I mean, no doubt on that. But the very fact that we have to give disclaimers like that, because we are scared that if we don't, then we will be labeled as these feminists, who are out to get men. No. Does a man ever, and with no offense to all the men sitting, you all are wonderful, we love you. But I don't see any man giving this disclaimer while making a misogynistic joke or a statement, you know. Like, I see so many memes on women, you know, so many Insta reels on women with no disclaimers. So where is all this coming from? It's fear, right? Because somewhere even the word feminism has been misconstrued. Does anybody know the definition of feminism? Please, I would like to hear. Yes, please.
So basically, it's trying to get equality between men and women. It's not above something like females or superior or something. It's just that we did not get a lot of the things which we wanted, the rights which we wanted for a very long time. So we want that at least we are part of it.
Right. So did everybody know this?
No.
I think I would like to add. So this is a internet feminism which you are just talking about. You are actually right. I won't defend, but yeah. And exactly as you said, men never put that disclaimer that we love women, because I think they believe in expressing their saying. So this is like my point of view. So please, I'm extremely sorry to all the men.
No. I think you're right. Men do have, because see, again, they are victims of patriarchy. I don't think patriarchy is about man. Patriarchy is a system, and the system victimizes both men and women. So while a man has this stereotypical role to be a provider, to be, the protector, to come home and, be this, could be tired from the entire day's work, but he still has to fulfill some duties at home. And then when you look at the woman's role, today the woman is also going out and earning bread, and she's coming home, but she's still expected to cut the bhaji in the train before coming home, and go home and cook and do all of those things. So while the roles are getting, they are getting interconnected, men and women are coming on the same platform, the society and the system is not aligned for this union to happen because it works for them. And I think all the men sitting here and all the women sitting here should ask themselves one question, that if we just do away with these, definitions and just look at ourselves as humans, no matter what gender we belong to, because now there is a third gender that is being recognized and we need to be inclusive. What are we looking at then? Can we be compassionate towards each other? Can I as a woman look at a man and say that, yeah, you have had it bad? And I know that for a fact because I work on child sexual abuse, and I don't know again how many of you know here, but more than 50% boys in this country have been sexually abused, and we don't talk about that. And there are men then who are growing with so much of unresolved trauma that it's going to come out in different ways. So I think we need to have these conversations. Maybe they are bold. maybe we will be classified as bold conversation. There might be tomorrow, today there is this, don't just call us bold, call us women. Tomorrow there will be, a category of bold topics. Whatever it is, let's do away with the labels, like Anusha said, because I think it's the need of the hour now. That we just look at each other as humans. I mean, look at what's happening around the world. From man, woman, child, whoever, we all are suffering, So just we need to come together, get rid of the labels and do what we can.
Joyji would like to add on this.
Selena, you spoke about language and the importance of language. So the English language describes women as the weaker sex. So you're already handicapped in that sense, damned by the language. So do you think the fact that women are therefore called bold is a result of the fact they have to fight against the label, the weaker sex?
Yeah, I'll just take that. I think that's a great question, because I think that a lot of the words we're using today, like bold, are actually were meant to be cast in a progressive light. As a reaction, as you're saying. And I don't disagree with that. I think I'd rather see a woman taking a bold action on screen than somebody who's being abused and submissive and tolerating it. Our point was really that stereotypes, when they aren't analyzed long enough, continue to be their own slave. So now we have a lot of films like Marvel Universe, for example, where you have to cast a woman who's going to do stunts and who's going to teach a man a lesson. And I feel that I wanted to add one point to what Insya was saying. is that having sat in countless meetings on films, where we discuss characters, where we discuss portrayals of women in television, I feel like you also said about this point about weakness. We, each of us, have to get rid of our own biases, because we all come programmed with biases. And one thing that I found disturbing in a lot of creative meetings is that people aren't interested in pursuit of truth. They want something to fit into their notion of what already is. So we're not creating new characters. We're saying that woman, how she was in that movie, like that. We're not thinking anew. We're not being surprised by people. Women are weak, women are strong, women are weak and strong at the same time. I had huge anxiety coming here. You can say that's a weakness, you can say, but you're also facing something, so that's a strength. So we are different things at different times. And sometimes we're different things at the same time. So I think that as creators, I wanted to say not so much as a person, but as someone who creates, we have to start looking at characters as human beings and saying that even if you say someone is bold, for example, let them do one thing that is considered weak, because then that's what makes them human. We're all a mix of things, but I have found that there are so many talented writers who think this way. The problem is the gatekeepers in channel networks, in film production houses. They want to feed the stereotype. They want to feed the stereotype because they think audiences aren't open enough to acceptance. The audience is hungry for that acceptance. They're trying to do all those things. Now things, of course, with social media and, with so many ways of making films on YouTube, so many other options, that is changing. But we still have to let go of our biases, I think. And to come back to your point very quickly, because women, we don't want to offend women by calling them weak, we therefore cast them as bold. That's also wrong. That's not doing justice to the many weaknesses that women have.
I was only speaking about the language and the label.
Yeah,
you have to fight against it.
Yes.
Because you're already labeled as the weaker sex, so you're beginning handicapped, right?
Yes.
Therefore, it's like a fight, and that's very unnecessary, because everyone's equal. I don't think that there's really a difference between men and women, just in that.
Yeah, and also I just want to say that, to come back to that point, we should look at truth, whatever it is. Truth means you are many things. Truth means you could be bold and very stupid. It's not necessary that boldness is admirable. You could be bold and make the biggest mistake of your life and regret it. So, labels, aside from labels, I think we should really train ourselves to look at people as many different things.
Sure. So the other thing is that boys are not supposed to cry, right? So you have, it's like, we're talking about stereotypes.
Yeah.
So that's, it's hard, in the sense that the world is not, unfortunately, hasn't evolved as much as it should in terms of mindsets. And I think particularly in India, I think it will take a long time, because I think Indian men are regressive. There's no question about it. You have to fight that. Good luck to all.
You're right in what you say, and I think that the fight should really be not to swing to another extreme of creating another extreme, but of just characters, like I'm talking now about representation, just people where we're not afraid to explore humanity. So a boy crying is not a sign of not being macho or being weak. It's a sign of the boy exploring his humanity. I think if we look at it like that, then there might be less resistance